In this worksheet called Multiple Criteria, we want to show you three interrelated functions. And just as there is a COUNTIF, SUMIF, and AVERAGEIF function, there is also a corresponding set ending in the letter S, COUNTIFS, SUMIFS, and AVERAGEIFS. These allow us to search for multiple criteria. For example, we want to know the account of how many of our full-time people have a job rating of 5. If we simply wanted to count how many people are full-time, we use a COUNTIF. Now notice as I'm typing here, we do see the functions play out here. We want to use a COUNTIFS. I'll just click it here and then press Tab, pop that into place. You'll notice here it says criteria range 1, although we can't see the rest of it. That's going to be criterion, even though it's plural there. And then we can have another set and another set. So let's just start off simply here. What are we looking for? We're looking for in column B, comma, the full-time people, double quote full-time. This possibly could be referred to in a cell off to the right, comma. What also are we looking for? We're looking in column C, comma, what are we looking for here? Job rating 5. So the first pair is we're looking for the full-time people and those who are full-time and have a job rating of 5. The two go together. In other words, we're not going to find contract people with a job rating of 5 or full-time people with a job rating of 3. The full-time people who have a job rating of 5, how many are there here? 32 of them. We could have a third pair, a fourth pair. We could expand this. How many of them have salaries over 60,000? Another pair, possibly. Comma. What are we looking for now? Column D. And what's the criterion here? Comma, within double quotes, greater than 60,000. No comma after the 60 in there. Double quote. So we're narrowing the list. We did have 32 because we weren't including the salaries. And what have we found now? In this list here, we have 16 people who are full-time and who have a job rating of 5, and they make more than $60,000. The two companion functions, SUMIFS and AVERAGEIFS, actually go a step further, and they work a little bit differently. Let's suppose that we would like to know the average salaries of our full-time people who have a job rating of 5. Equal AVERAGEIF. Here too, by the way, I could have popped that into place with the tab key. But AVERAGEIFS, we start by indicating what? The field we're trying to tabulate. Maybe we're trying to find the average salary. There we go. You notice it says a range. Now we have pairs of criteria and multiple pairs perhaps. So we're looking for the average salary of what or of whom? Those whose status is full-time, so column B, comma, double quote full-time. That's one pair. We could stop right there. That could be it. But let's put in another pair. Job rating, and then a comma, 5. If it's a numerical value like this, you don't have to put it in quotes. So we simply want to know the average salary of our full-time people who have a job rating of 5. And there it is. 59,766. By the way, if we want to know the total salary here of our full-time people who have a job rating of 5, we just change the word average to sum. That would make it a SUMIFS. It too works in the same fashion here where we begin with the field that we're tabulating. But here's a more involved situation off to the right. We've got a whole bunch of items here and they need to be shipped. They've got different sizes. They go to different zones. And here's a cost here. We want to know in this area right here how much money we have spent for shipping these packages based on the zone that they have gone to and the size of the package. So this is going to be a little bit more involved, but it's going to be using the SUMIFS function, equals SUMIFS. And we want to add up the data from column L. Now, because we would like to copy this function into other cells and we want to make sure that the information that we're adding is always coming out of column L, we want to make that an absolute reference, so we press F4, comma. In pairs, what are we first looking for? We want to make sure that we're adding up in this row right here just the data for size 1s. So we click column J. That's where the sizes are located. And here too, we want this to be an absolute reference. Press F4. What are we looking for in column J? Those that are size 1. I'm going to click on P3 here after putting in the comma. Right there. Now, because we're going to be copying this down the column, we want to make sure that it stays in column P, not row 3. So here we'll press F4 a few times using a relative reference, always making sure that this portion of our formula is coming out of column P. So this pair right here means we are only trying to tabulate information that's coming out of column J for size 1, comma. Now we've got another pair that we need to put in, and this relates to the shipping zone. And so we're looking in column K. This too needs to be an absolute reference. We'll press F4, comma, and now we need to make a reference to the row where the zones are put in, and that's right here in row 3 up above. I'm going to click on row 2, Q2, and press F4 in such a way that we indicate we always want this to come out of row 2. So I'm pressing F4 repeatedly. We see the $sign here. So we're finally finished. What are we trying to do here? We're trying to tabulate all that information out of column L and figuring out where the size here, that's column J, is equal to 1, and also out of column K here, the shipping zone is from zone 1. So I'm going to press enter here and double click to copy this down the column and across the various rows here. In other words, what we're saying here is we spent $460 on various mailings to zone 6 if the package was size 4. We might want to put totals on the bottom here and on the side. You could certainly do that. And we can do that very quickly here just by highlighting these cells and pressing auto sum. And we're pulling together the data in that way. Readjusting the column widths here, so on, we've got this information. We see this grand total right here. If you highlight these cells here, of course, you're also seeing this down in the status bar at the bottom of the screen. And of course, the real final check on this is to click column L. What's the total shipping cost of all these items? There it is, you see it, $8,668.54. It's the same total we have here. So this table, somewhat painstakingly created, uses the SUMIFS function to gather data from multiple criteria in columns J, K, and L.